So this is workshop number 1, video number 8, and we are going to summarize everything that we've just covered in all the other videos about planning your week, and then do the really hard part, which is scheduling your time hour by hour. So to summarize what we've learned so far, the first part of creating an effective plan is to do your mind flush so that you're getting everything out of your brain onto paper. It can either be very broad and general, everything you want to do, or it can be very specific on a particular problem or a particular issue that you need to fix. Once you've done your mind flush, you're going to prioritize it based on, you're going to identify everything that needs to get scheduled in the next week. And then those items that you're not going to do in the next week, you're going to put to one side and forget about, as long as you've kept your mind flush list very safe. And then you're going to look at everything that you've identified needs to get done this week. You're going to prioritize it. You're going to determine your top 3 tasks and your number 1 priority. And then if you want to create a focus for your week, that will just allow you to be a little bit more efficient. You're then going to take into account your peak performance week and your peak performance day. When are you most efficient, most motivated, got the most energy during the week, during the day? And you are going to schedule those tasks that you really don't want to do for early in the week, early in the morning. And then the really, really important things that you need to take from this program is being able to schedule your first 90 minutes of your day for the most productive things, the things that are going to have the biggest impact on your results and move you forward. If you really do feel like you are at the mercy of your technicians or the other people in your department for the first 90 minutes, you need to try and deal with that issue. There is no reason why your priority shouldn't come first, but I do understand that if you're a scheduler or if you're dealing with technicians, it's very difficult to get anything other than your technicians on the road or the job scheduled. But utilize the first 90 minutes of your day wherever possible for your top 3 tasks. If you can't, for whatever reason, use the first 90 minutes, it is even more important that you schedule at least 2 50-minute blocks later on in the day to get your priorities done. But for most of you, you should be utilizing the first 90 minutes of your day effectively, and then scheduling in at least 1 or 2 50-minute blocks during the day to either batch tasks so that you can do them efficiently, or to be working on additional priorities. So that's a summary of where you should be now. So you should have your prioritized mind flush in front of you. You should be visualizing what your week could look like. How you actually write down your schedule for the week is entirely up to you. You can do it in OneNote, you can do it on your calendar, you can do it on your phone, you can write it on the back of a napkin if you want. I have a video that I will share with you about how I plan my time. I love writing things down. For me, there's something significant about when I take the time to write things, it just goes into my brain better. So I'm a big advocate for that. But ultimately, whatever works for you. I know several people who never write stuff down. It goes straight in their phone, because if they write it on a piece of paper, they'll lose the piece of paper. And electronic management works much better for them. So I'll put a link in workshop 1 notes to different kinds of things that you can use for planning. So don't get hung up on how you plan your day. If you are totally resistant to deciding what you're going to do and when, write it on a sticky note and stick that sticky note on your laptop or on your clipboard or on your notebook or whatever you carry around with you each day. It is writing it down and deciding your priority and when you're going to get it done that's the critical part, not how you schedule it, where you schedule it. But it should be quick. It should take you no more than 2 to 5 minutes to plan your day. So when you create your schedule for the day, the first thing, obviously, when you look at your calendar, there's meetings, there's tasks that you can't get out of. You've got certain priorities that are on your calendar already that you can't change. So you start there. The second thing, and this is where my program is slightly different, is I want you to schedule the things that make life fun. I want you to sit down and do tasks that you're dreading, knowing that you're going to power through it, you're going to work efficiently, you're going to work with focus, you're going to eliminate distractions because you know that you're going for lunch with a coworker, or you're going to get this big project done because you're going out with friends for drinks tonight, or you're going out with dinner with your family, or you're stopping by and having lunch with your kids at school unexpectedly to surprise them. Whatever makes you happy, plan it into your day. If you're someone who loves social media, plan small social media breaks during the day, as long as you can keep it under control, because you know what it's like. You start scrolling and before you know it, you've wasted half an hour. But you plan those things that make you that bring you joy throughout your day, so that you can then work with focus on the things when you come to schedule your priorities. So number one, you've got the things on your calendar that you have no control over, schedule meetings that other people have scheduled, that kind of thing. Number two, plan the things that you love. And then number three, again, thinking about your peak performance week, you need to schedule your prioritized tasks. So look at your mind flush, look at your top 3 tasks, look at your number 1 priority, and then utilize your prefrontal cortex and decide when you're going to get it done. Look at your day. When do you have most energy? When do you have most motivation? Take that into account. Plan the things that you are dreading doing for early in the day, early in the week. Make sure that you are utilizing the first 90 minutes of your day for your number 1 priority. I would say at least 3 times a week. I utilize my first 90 minutes of my day for whatever my number 1 priority is. I would say probably at least for sometimes 6 days a week, because I get up and work early on a weekend as well. But you do not need to do that. That is not an expectation for business. Your weekends should be enjoying yourself and recharging, so you come back focused on a Monday. Unless you have huge business goals, then go for it. So utilize the first 90 minutes for your number 1 priority or your top 3 tasks at least 3 times a week. And then look at the rest of your day and chunk all the things that you have to do into 50-minute blocks and schedule them throughout the day. If you really, really struggle with unexpected tasks or what you consider emergencies coming up throughout the day, it's okay to say the first 90 minutes of my day, I'm going to be dealing with emergencies, and you leave that time free to deal with unexpected tasks as long as you are super efficient during the day. Or if your emergencies hit mid-morning or late afternoon, if afternoon is when your technicians call with all their problems and you're trying to get them set up for the next day and you have no idea what's coming up, it's okay to schedule a block of time for unexpected tasks, a 50-minute block in the morning or the afternoon. But you have to be very organized, and you have to have your list of priorities, because if no one calls you, if there are no emergencies, then you need to be working on one of your priorities, and you need to be making sure that you utilize that time. The other thing that you need to take into account once you've scheduled, well, obviously you've got the number 1 thing is the things that are on your calendar already. Number 2 is scheduling things that bring you joy and make you focused when you're working on your priorities. Number 3 is scheduling your priorities for the best time to get them done. Number 4 is to make sure that you're completing each task before you move on to the next. This comes down to working with focus and determination, because if you have a quote that you need to get out, you know you can get it done in an hour, and so you have to get it done in an hour. If for some reason something comes up and it's taken much, much longer than you think, and you've worked with focus and determination and eliminated distractions, then that's okay, and you just have to take some time from somewhere else in your schedule. But if it's taken longer because you're kind of looking out the window, you're scrolling on Facebook, you maybe took a couple of calls and you didn't work with focus and determination, then you need to reprioritize and you need to complete that task. But know that the reason it took longer was not that it was actually a much longer, much more complicated process than you expected. You just allowed it to take longer. So make sure you're working with focus and determination, and make sure you leave enough time for each task. That's number 5. Because if you don't leave enough time for each task, then you are setting yourself up for failure. And if you leave enough time for each task and you work with focus and determination, you get everything done much quicker than you expected. All you do is go to your prioritized mind flush and choose another priority and slot it into that additional time that you've made for yourself. So to summarize, number 1, there's things on your calendar that you can't change, so you work around those. Number 2, schedule in those fun things that are going to force you or encourage you to work with focus and determination. Number 3, schedule your priorities. Make sure that you're taking into account your peak performance week, scheduling tasks that you don't want to do early in the morning, early in the week. You're utilizing the first 90 minutes of your day at least 3 times a week, and you're scheduling at least 1 or 2 blocks of 50 minutes during the day to group tasks, or if you need to leave that time free for whatever emergencies have come up in the morning when you're working on your priorities. And then number 4, complete each task before moving on to the next. And number 5, ensure that you are leaving enough time for each task. So good luck. Do not get hung up on how you're going to plan your day or what you're going to plan your day on. Just write it down on something, or just put it in the notes section in your phone. deciding what you're going to do and when you're going to do it and sticking to that plan is the most important part, not how you write it down.